Here we are, we're in the little parish of Faulston. Now Faulston was the Parliamentarian garrison, and we're here because Fairfax wrote in a letter about Faulston, the garrison, the Parliamentarians and Langford, where the Royalists were stationed. They were sending delegates of people from both these garrisons, Langford and Faulston, into Salisbury, and they were talking with the Clubmen. Now in Fairfax's letter he talks about these two garrisons being paid by the Clubmen, both together, and they were making merry with one another. Basically they were drinking together, and this was a problem for Fairfax, because in this civil war you don't want both sides talking to one another and making merry. So it's a beautiful little parish, and I don't know how old that building is over there, but it's very old. And there's a beautiful river here, the River Ebble.
Yep.
Ebble. And that's what I want to say about Faulston really, but we're going to go on to Langford next and look at the Royalist garrison, and then we're going to go back up to Grovely where we were last week, and we'll do a little bit more there about Christopher Dale, and we'll leave it at that for the time being. Right, we've left the Parliamentarian garrison of Faulston, and we've arrived at Langford House. No, we haven't. We've arrived at Longford Castle or Langford Castle. It's either one of those two names. At the moment it's Longford Castle, but back then it was put down as Langford Castle. But this is the Royalist garrison. Now both these garrisons were being paid off by the Clubmen, and they were being paid to stop fighting, which they did do, and not to go into Salisbury or the immediate area and plunder goods from the local people. And Fairfax also mentions in one of his letters about them going around, the Clubmen going around and gathering taxes, tithings, to pay these two garrisons. So that was what I wanted to say about here. This is the two garrisons, Faulston that way, and it's about 5 miles out from Salisbury, Longford House. And there's a little story which later on they talk about Oliver Cromwell arriving here and him riding up to the area with a man at his side on a horse, and the guys here, the Royalists, felt quite intimidated by it, but one of them did manage to get a pot shot out at Cromwell, and it just missed him, and it actually killed the guy he was next to. So that's an interesting story in itself, but it does say he took the pot shot from here and Cromwell was at Manor Farm, and the Manor Farm is about half a mile away, so that was one hell of a shot with a musket, unless he was a bit closer to the area. But that's all I wanted to say about this place, and what we're going to do now is go back up to Grovely and finish it there, just talking about the Clubmen meeting on Grovely Castle, or Grovely Wood, or Ebbsbury Castle, which is all part of the same area. But we'll finish it there, and that's it really. As a little aside note, this is about as close as you can get to this place, because this is all private land now, and it's a bit annoying really, because you can't get anywhere closer. I was talking to a lady in town, and she was saying when she lived here with her mother 20 years ago.
Yeah, something
30,
like that.
You could get right up to the house really.
Well, you could go through the parkland.
You could go through the parkland, yeah, but yeah. It's all private now. It's getting more difficult to get around these places. So I don't want to be like the next 20 years. It'd be impossible. But they all seem to be sort of like grown-up trees around these properties now. So they're sort of, you know how the rich like to hide. Anyway, that's a little political note there, and we'll move on to Grovely Castle now.
Whose land?
Walk up to Grovely Castle now, because last week we went to Ebbsbury, which is Hillfort, which is all part of the same Hillfort.
Yeah. But
we're going to go to the Grovely side of it and do a little bit from up there, because maybe the Clubmen met there, or maybe they met at Ebbsbury, but it's all part of the same Hillfort.
And of course we can't come out without walking up a hill.
No.
That's obligatory.
That's it, and we found with these things with the Clubmen, we found like every hill in the area is an ancient Hillfort.
Exactly.
There is no just hills in this part of Wiltshire and Dorset. Right, we stopped here on the way to Grovely Castle, hilltop, because just to show you the landscape, because where we were last week is over here Ebbsbury, and we've got the Langfords behind us, the 3 boroughs of not boroughs, parishes. It's just a great view basically, and we can pan round. So if you just film this bit, this is the Langfords. And when we get over there, we can show the Ebbsbury where we were a week ago filming from. Loads of March hares down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, hares.
Yes, yeah.
Jumping about.
Oh, great stuff.
With their legs, yeah. Oh,
Mad as a March hare.
hell of a hike.
It is.
You can't get in there. Back there, you have to get in.
We'll have to go through there.
Oh,
Let's do it.
this is our permanent expression on these
It
hill
is.
forts. You know, the heart's racing. But that's it. You can see it if you pan around. It's just getting in there.
We're going to have to go through some barbed wire.
It feels, yeah, come back to me. It feels a bit like you're on private land, because there's no stars anywhere to get over or any, but you just fields. But I don't think you are, because there's a farmer over here working with his tractor, and he hasn't said anything to us, so I think it's fine.
Well, we're keeping to the edge of the field, aren't we?
We are, yeah, you can hear the meadow pipits and everywhere, but yeah, there's hares down there, they're jumping all over the place. You know, I was trying to call you, but if I shouted, they just disappeared. But,
Yes, yeah.
but we'll go under the fence here.
You've got to say something now.
Here we are, Grovely Castle, as they call it. This is the highest point. Ebbsbury is that way.
And this is Grovely
Langford
Wood.
that way.
Grovely Wood.
Grovely Wood. So this is where maybe 1645 the clubmen met here, or Ebbsbury over here. I kind of think maybe it's over there, but there's no. It just says Grovely on the records. But I kind of recommend coming out to all these ancient hill forts actually. I mean, that's been the surprise for me really, apart from the clubmen historical side of things. There's these fantastic walks to all these hill forts, which all link up with the clubmen. They were obviously walking from hill fort to hill fort to hill fort, and each time they were stopping. We're going to Mere next, well later on, but there's a massive Beacon Hill, I think they call it, but there's another ancient earthworks there, and we have on record but Thomas Young was there doing a speech, and some guy come along and grabbed a prayer book from him and said, what about, just grabbed the Bible and started saying things about the common prayer book. But so that'll be the next one we go to, but we need to sit down and get our breath back.
And if you look behind you, there's a big black cloud.
Yeah, no.
We might need to get
And
back
they did
down before it
forecast
rains.
lightning today. You don't want to be up here when it starts lightning, but but
we might be very wet by the time we get back to the car.
yeah. So do I want to say anything else about this place? I don't know what I do really.
I think we'll just
Yeah.
show people the view.
Yeah, come on at the top here, and we'll pan round, and we'll get all this what's around us before it's raining. I'm just going to finish off with what Fairfax said in his letter, because it's a nice bit of phrasing, and it says about the clubmen with the two Royalists, the Parliamentarian and the Royalist side in Langford and Faulston. In the letter Fairfax wrote, he said, they take with them to interpose between the garrisons of either side, and when any other forces meet in places where they have sufficient power, they will not let them fight, but make them drink together. which is, I think it's a great phrase. We should do more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it really. That's what I wanted to say with that. This period of the Clubmen saga. But check out their website. Check out their website. Clubmen 1645. Work in progress.